ban TikTok in the United States, send it to the Senate. Essentially, what happens, a bill. If I don't know if you guys ever watched there's like a very like funny like almost like commercial that plays for high school kids, that high school and middle school would be like, hey, this is how a law gets passed in the United States. It goes through these committees. You got to get passed here, here, here. Then eventually gets to the House and the Senate. If they pass it, it goes to the president's desk. And if the president signs off, that is the law. Okay. Now, let me explain this whole TikTok thing for y'all, okay? TikTok is a company that's owned by another company called ByteDance. Now, it's called ByteDance in U.S. translation, but in China, it's called like Douyin or something. I can't remember what it's called. Here's the problem. Everybody in the U.S. is saying, yo, this ain't cool. You can't go, what I mean? I was just talking to my security guard. So when my security guard, I don't mean to dox him type of shit, but my security guard worked for little TJ. They just went on like a 40-city tour. Like, he told me what it was. He said, yo, when we went to like China and shit like that, he's like, having an Instagram is like having a kilo of coke. You don't even want to announce it that you got an Instagram. Why? Because Instagram is banned there. In China, they don't allow you to be on Instagram. They got their own social medias. They got their own shit. And I was like, what? Now, here's the thing. TikTok, which is owned by this company, basically exists in the United States. However, according to some of the bylaws that people know, TikTok could do, they could be collecting your information, just doing studies on you to pass your information on to ad companies. They could be doing nefarious things. And I think a lot of people are like, yo, bro, this doesn't sound right, especially if it's coming from a hood nigga. So, a lot of what happened is that people have said that they got to get rid of TikTok. So now it made it through a bunch of committees. The House has passed a bill to say that it would be banned. The Senate is going to have to vote, which I don't think it's a 50-50 vote. I think it's a like 65-35 vote. But people think that will pass. Here's the problem with misinformation. There is no possibility that is pleasable or plausible that you will see TikTok not in America, okay? The whole problem of what's going on is that they're saying that, yo, your government doesn't allow our shit to go in your countries without your supervision. If y'all are bringing TikTok over here, we should supervise it. It shouldn't be some free market, free trade shit, and y'all could do whatever y'all want because y'all won't let us do whatever we want. Here's the thing. This is one of the few times I'm actually going to agree with like the elites or like whoever who says this. Bro, why the hell would anybody need to have like some severe control or power over a bunch of people, especially on an app, unless you thought you were manipulating? Do you get what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. Why can't I find the chat? Give me 1 second. I couldn't find the chat. All right. My bad, chat. Cool. What was I looking at? Okay. Here we go.
To pass a bipartisan bill that could lead to a nationwide ban of TikTok.
On this vote, the yeas are 352, the nays are 65. One present, 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed. And without the objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Okay.
Lawmakers have been raising concerns about TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, warning that the app could give the Chinese government access to the data of millions of Americans, including browsing history and location. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joins me now, along with ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill, ABC's Elizabeth Schulze, and ABC News contributor, Google Tech Policy Fellow Mike Muse. Jay, this bill now heads to the Senate, where its fate is uncertain. What are you hearing from lawmakers about that?
Well, look, this was a very significant bipartisan vote on the House floor, 352 yay votes. That puts a lot of pressure on the Senate and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
By the way, let me try to simplify before we get into some of the nuances of this. Yo, I'm in support of this TikTok bill. I'm in support. I'm going to tell you why. TikTok theoretically will never be banned. And this is why sometimes I hate when, people only get their news from certain sources who have certain agendas. TikTok will never be banned in the United States. What they're doing in the United States is basically saying, yo, TikTok, just like how Instagram can go into motherfucking China and put out Facebook and put out WhatsApp or whatever the case is, we need y'all to be in alliance or allied with a U.S. company that wants to serve U.S. interests before you could do all that shit. I'm sorry. I live in the United States of America. Of course, no matter what company it is, I would imagine that whatever company it is would want to serve or be in the best interest of the United States of America. That's normal. Why would you want to even be exploring an idea where you would be going against the ideals of the country that has built you to the wealth that you're at? So yeah, the app won't go anywhere. The government is trying to force a sale. They're saying, hey, y'all can make some money if y'all sell it now. We're going to force you to sell it, or you're going to have to shut down. Do you think they're going to just shut down and just sit on all that money? They're going to sell it. And to me, I don't care who the owners of TikTok is, especially if the owners already are fucking with the movements of what regular people are doing. I'll keep playing.
To take some kind of action on this bill because of how big that margin was. And we just saw moments ago after this bill passed, two pretty significant members of the Senate, the chair and vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner and Marco Rubio, formally endorsed this legislation. So that carries a lot of weight when you talk about trying to force Chuck Schumer, or at least push Chuck Schumer, to put this bill on the floor for a vote. Again, what's in this legislation, just to be clear, is it would seek to force a sale of TikTok from its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, within 6 months if the legislation becomes law. And only if that sale does not occur could TikTok then be banned on app stores and on web hosting services and things of that nature. So TikTok is calling this legislation a ban. Champions of this legislation, again, Republicans and Democrats alike, are saying that this...
Bingo. There we go. TikTok isn't going to be banned, but TikTok is trying to call it a ban that it could get support to shut it down. The U.S. is basically saying, yo, y'all know China got a whole different Instagram than what we got. It ain't even called Instagram nor Meta. The U.S. is trying to get on the same type of timing. Not even to that extreme. They're just saying, yo, could you at least meet these standards if you're going to be selling a product or showing ads to people that are our constituents? And TikTok is on some shit like, nah, fuck you. So of course the government is going to be like, all right, well, we're not fucking with you neither. That's just the reality of it.
This is a forced sale, and only if ByteDance doesn't act, if this becomes law, could the app be banned.
So, Elizabeth, what's the likelihood here that ByteDance does sell?
Well, and this is going to be the question is, A, does it pass the Senate? Does this legislation get through Congress ultimately? And then B, can this get through the legal hurdles to get for China to allow the sale to happen? That's an outstanding question. And then what would that actually look like, Diane? We haven't really seen this kind of a sale that's been forced from the U.S. In the past, there have been instances where the government has said a Chinese company needs to cut ties, but that's been a complete sale of the company. What we're talking about here is really just the U.S. business splitting off from the Chinese owner, ByteDance. And that raises a whole host of questions. What the law itself would look like if it does go into effect is that the app would no longer be available on the App Store or on Google Play. Eventually, that would make it impossible for users to use. You couldn't keep updating the app like you would need to, and it wouldn't be available on websites. But this is undoubtedly going to raise some questions about free speech. We have seen the small amount of lawmakers who voted against it today say this has the First Amendment questions that have been raised. We've seen that already raised in courts. So questions about what happens in Congress.
Hey, it's going to sound ignorant, man, but fuck all that shit. Bruh, I'm with Uncle Trump with this shit, man. If China could tell us that we can bring some of our apps and our ideas to them and nobody calls them racist, nobody calls them nothing, people just be like, oh, well, that's what China said. Fuck that. My nigga, take TikTok and the rest of the other bullshit y'all done created and stick it up y'all ass. If y'all not about to play ball just like how we play ball, why the fuck is we just acting and acquiescing to what you got going on? So I completely understand why people might be looking at TikTok as, yo, this shit is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Why not?
And then what happens from there in the legal process, too.
And Selena, President Biden's campaign joined TikTok last month, but then on Friday he said he would sign a bill to ban TikTok if it did pass. How is the White House addressing what appears to be some mixed messaging there?
Yeah, Diane, I mean, the White House really struggles to answer that question. Just yesterday I said...
Okay. Now, if you look on Instagram... This was one of the surprising artists who actually talked about it today. We had Coyle Ray. She said, yo, TikTok is not a streaming platform, and I've never looked at it as one. I'm not worried. As long as you don't take away Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, Tidal, Audio Mac, YouTube Music, Amazon, I'm good. Music and the love I have for it is forever. Now, I'm going to say this to you, Coyle Ray. TikTok isn't a streaming platform, but it's the only platform that's actually actively promoting music. So when you say it's not a streaming platform and you only care about Apple Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud, let's talk about Spotify. I was just there. Let's talk about Apple Music. I'm familiar with it. I had deals from them. Let's talk about SoundCloud because everybody know about SoundCloud. Tidal, we don't even got to talk about. When it comes to Apple Music, right? And if you're talking about, whatever music or whatever like platform people have, the reality of it is this. Apple Music and Spotify and SoundCloud don't know how to market an artist no more. They don't know. Like, they know how to kind of capitalize off an existing hit, but they don't know how to market an artist. So when it says that Coyle Ray is saying that TikTok is not a streaming platform, you're wrong. Because without TikTok, your record doesn't go viral. Your record went viral because TikTok took a liking to it. So you could be like, oh, no, I didn't just come up through TikTok. But again, we're talking about so many other DSPs that, like, TikTok just has amplified reach. Like, you think artists want to be the most talked about on Tidal, or they want to be the most talked about on a streaming platform? Could be Kick. No, that's what it is. All right. Okay, so she's saying it's not a streaming platform, but I will say that TikTok has the most amount of streams that is either given away or is either just funded back into the artist. And when she says TikTok is not a streaming platform, so she doesn't care. TikTok, Instagram, what else? There's a few more. They're the ones that's moving the music industry right now. I kid you no lie. Okay. All right.
So TikTok is on the verge of being banned in the US. And you feel me? He was speaking about it. If you don't know, a lot of artists they use TikTok to promote themselves. A lot of new artists, especially in the modern age 2020s, like right now, are blowing off TikTok, like the Coil Rays, like DDGS, some songs like people like that. People get hit songs like Lotto from TikTok. And they want to get rid of TikTok because allegedly the Chinese people they're getting information, like they're getting Americans information and using it for whatever they're using it for. So the US is trying to ban TikTok. But what do you guys feel about this whole thing? Like, you think TikTok should be banned? Personally, me, I don't care if TikTok gets banned or not. TikTok though helps a lot of people promote and do a lot of things. Like it changes a lot of people's lives, could turn a lot of people from nobody to like who they are. Like who the guy who reviews food and stuff. Like TikTok changes a lot of people's lives. So I don't think TikTok's necessarily a bad thing, but also we don't really know like what TikTok truly is. TikTok might be something where they're taking information from US citizens or people all over the world and they're just selling it off to God knows who. But like in their face front, TikTok is a good thing, but we really don't know like the back cover of everything. So hey, let me know what you guys feel about TikTok and everything in the comments below. Do you think TikTok's gonna get banned or do you think it's not gonna get past the Senate? The House of Representatives already passed it, so we gotta see what's up. It's your boy Big X News. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I am